Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, and our discussion today is 3 things to not do if you think or if you know he is cheating. Hi, welcome back. I'm Paul Friedman, and this discussion I know is not comfortable, but we need to have it. So there's 3 things to not do if you think or if you know that he's cheating. If it's your husband, this is very important. If it's a boyfriend, not so much. Let's get into this and start with number 1. Number 1 is don't think your marriage is over, because likely, well, if you follow the path that I described, it's not over. Now, how can I say that with so much confidence? I used to be a divorce mediator until 2001. And when I discovered what I discovered about marriage, I look back and all the couples who I helped get a divorce shouldn't have. And it was painful for me because I thought, oh my God, I've got such bad karma for helping these people get a divorce. Literally, I believed in divorce at that time. I was divorced myself, and I just thought, okay, if you try to save your marriage and you can't, and you're unhappy and you're suffering, you might as well leave. But wow, was I wrong. And the reason why I was wrong is because I learned about marriage. The first couple who I helped save their marriage was actually a couple who came to me for a divorce, but as I was going through the process, they both started to cry and they said, we don't want a divorce. We really want to be together. We want to save our marriage, but we don't know what to do. They had just gone through marriage counseling. They were good people. I was in San Diego County, so they had what would be considered the best marriage counselors around, and it didn't work. And that's true for so many people. But then what happened was I said, okay, let me try and help you, but I need to do a deep dive into marriage, because from my perspective, I didn't want to just help them with the current issues. It didn't seem right to me. Current issues such as him cheating, are never the cause of a divorce. Never. In fact, I listed the 3 top causes of divorce, and believe it or not, the number 1 killer of all marriages is what I call overfamiliarity. And what that means is that you have gotten to know each other so well, all the flaws that you see in each other, and you become exasperated with trying to help them change, which, by the way, you cannot change your husband and he cannot change you, but you become overfamiliar. You get to know each other and you take each other for granted. And you especially focus on what's wrong with each other. So what I did, I started helping couples, and I had a big 4x8 whiteboard in my office, of course, because as a divorce mediator, I'm laying out what do we do with scheduling the kids, what do we do about separating assets. So I thought, okay, I'll just use this whiteboard. And what I would do with the couples, I would ask them, well, I took my dry erase marker and I put 7 or 8 black dots on my whiteboard. And then I would say, what do you see? There wasn't one person who said, well, I see white, but there's 8 dots or 7 dots. They all said, well, I see 7 or 8 dots. And some of them would try and see a pattern, but that wasn't the point. The point of this exercise was to show them that their mind is always looking at what is bad. It's never, as a first thing, never looking at the white, always looking at the dark. So this overfamiliarity is really focusing on the negative. And this has been happening in your marriage for a while. If your husband is cheating on you, and if you just think he is, chances are he is. If he's cheating on you, then really what has happened? And let's be really honest here, because this is what I want to drive you to, is understanding how to save your marriage. And it begins with understanding your marriage, and so you can see what happened that really broke your marriage apart. So if you are at that place where you go, my husband is cheating on me, what that really means is that that marriage that you have has not been functioning well for quite a while. And all that has happened is he's taken the first step of pulling himself out of suffering. Now you could say, yeah, I'm suffering too. He doesn't do this, he does that, he doesn't treat me right. I get that. Of course I get that. But why you're looking for an answer is because intuitively you know that your marriage can be saved. And you don't want to, at this point, make it worse. You don't need to rush towards a lawyer. You don't need to set up your finances. You don't need, most people will tell you, well, set up a fund so that you can survive the horrible costs of divorce. Well, if you're going to get a divorce, if you're choosing to get a divorce, then yes, you have to do all of those quote unquote practical things. But let's go back. All the people who I helped get a divorce shouldn't have gotten a divorce, but they didn't know what to do next. They just didn't know. And I'm going to try and help you see that there is light at the end of this tunnel. I know how dark it is right now. I know how scared you are. I know how worried you are because I've seen it thousands of times, literally thousands of times. Because at the Marriage Foundation, this is why people come to us. And when I discovered these truths about marriage in San Diego County, most of my clients were referred to me. And I was a divorce saver now. And I'm not a Western psychologist, but I understood marriage, where all of my friends who were psychologists and couples counselors and all that, they truly didn't understand marriage until I did. And then I was able to show it to them. And then they started to save marriages too. But the easiest way is by getting my course for women. But we're not going to go there now. What I want you to do is I want you to calm down. Just stay with me on this. And I want you to realize that what I'm telling you is true. Your marriage does not have to come to an end. Now, if you decide it's coming to an end, or if you give up, that is the end. Once you give up, it's over. If you go to a couples counselor, you're just going to stretch out the suffering. Because honestly, 99% of marriage counselors do not know how to save a marriage. They know how to negotiate things. They know how to get you to talk about what's going on. But that's not what saves a marriage. Okay? So number one, don't think your marriage is over. And now we come to number two. So what some women do when they're faced with this cheating thing is they, out of panic mode, they struggle to overcompensate, to save their marriage by doing all the things that they read about in articles or hear about on YouTube that says this will save your marriage, that will save your marriage. I'm here to tell you that there is no magic pill. It's sort of like if you have a plant and the plant starts to go bad and the leaves are turning brown and things are going wrong with your plant. So there is no magic pill even for saving a plant. And I got to tell you, your marriage is much more complicated than a plant. Now, With a plant, what you do is you have to investigate what could be going wrong. What am I doing wrong? And you realize that plants have specific needs. They need the right amount of water, the right amount of sunlight, the right temperature, the right fertilization. There's things that they need. Well, obviously, your marriage was not getting the right things that it needs. And so, unfortunately, what happens is our minds jump in. Really, marriage is all about the heart, isn't it? But our minds are told what to do by our physical drive to survive. And so it reacts in a way that is immediate. Okay, I have to do this. I have to do that. I should have been giving him more sex. I should have been dressing better. I should have been preparing meals for him. I should have been listening to him. And you read an article or hear something on YouTube and you go, that's it. Here, I'm going to change everything. Don't do that. Don't do that. The way I guide people who take our online course for women is we start with calming down and learning about ourselves. This may sound so funky to you, but it's true. And it's simultaneously, you're learning about marriage. You know, it's like the first time we hear this all the time at the Marriage Foundation. Well, I wish I knew this stuff 20 years ago or 8 years ago. And it wouldn't have been what's happening now, and that's true. It would be like driving a car and never changing the oil. Driving a car and never checking the pressure in your tires. Driving a car and not even knowing what this switch is for and that switch is for. You learn how to drive a car from the bottom up. Well, marriage, we don't learn about marriage, and it's nobody's fault. It's just that the world we live in honestly doesn't know about marriage. If you Google what is marriage, you're going to get some irrelevant definition. It's like a civil blah, blah, blah. Doesn't have any meaning. But when you learn about marriage and how it's constructed and what is required to maintain it, then you start to realize, well, I didn't know that. And I used to do this, and man, is that hurting my relationship with my husband. No wonder he's seeking out comfort somewhere else. You know, to put it in a nutshell, the women, and this is not your fault, be very clear about this. I do not blame women for their husbands cheating on them. I do not. Now, you can fix it, you can heal the marriage, but that doesn't mean it's your fault. So let's be really clear. When a husband cheats on his wife, he is breaking some very high spiritual laws. The first of which is he's breaking his vows to you. He's disloyal to you. And I want to tell you something. He's going to pay. We can't get away with it. Treachery is one of the greatest sins, and he will pay. But it's not your job to be the agency for that. You're still his wife. You married him. Your vows are not dependent on he keeping his vows. Let me say that again. Keeping your vows is not dependent on him keeping his vows. You see, the third killer of marriage is the business mentality towards marriage. I'll do this, but you have to do that. And it goes all the way back to the vows, where we think I'm giving my vows to love, honor, obey, and all of that, and he's going to do the same. It's not a contract like that. It's not a business deal. What you're really saying when you get married, and you meant it, but you have forgotten it, is I will love you, I will support you in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. until death do us part. That's part of virtually everyone's set of vows. Well, now he's running around on you, or maybe he has an affair with one person, and that's a disease, you might say. That's the worst. For better or for worse, that's the worst. You promised to stick it out, to be supportive and loving no matter what. But then you take a look and you go, well, I haven't really been all that supportive of him. I haven't really opened my heart to him. I want to tell you a little secret. And again, I'm not blaming you because we are not taught. Do you know what the purpose of marriage is anyway? The purpose of marriage, there is a purpose, is to learn how to love unconditionally. Isn't that beautiful? Think about that. To learn, not to teach your husband how to love you unconditionally, but for you to learn to love unconditionally. And so now you get to work on that because we're talking about unconditional love. And I can guide your steps so that you can make your marriage work again. Because I want you to save your marriage. I want your husband to come back to you, not because you forced him or because you manipulated him or any negative reason. I want him to come back to you with all of his heart, like he did when you first got together. I want him to have those feelings for you again. And you can cultivate that even now while he's cheating on you. And we have some ladies who say, but my husband told me that he loves her and he still loves me, but not the same way. It doesn't matter. You're married to him. And that bond that you have is a very deep spiritual bond. And we can recreate it, rekindle the flame. It's not gone. The love is still there. So let's be a little practical now and go to number 3. Number 3 is obvious. Don't ask him about it. Don't talk to him about it. Don't confront him about it. Don't go there. I'm going to give you the most obvious reason why is because if you open that door, it's like a Pandora's box where all this negative stuff, all these thought through reasons are going to come out. And it's going to solidify his decision to cheat on you. You know, in some cases, and we hear this all the time at the Marriage Foundation, a man will, out of guilt, say, oh, you're right, I'll never do it again. I'm so sorry. I'm going to change. I'm going to change. He's going to change. No, he's not. Because he was weak and he gave in to the pain and suffering that he was feeling in the marriage. And as long as that pain and suffering is still there, he's still going to seek comfort somewhere else. You know, we get married to be happy. And I say we, I don't mean just men. We all get married to be happy. And we know that love is what brings us happiness. And there you have it. He wasn't feeling the love. Now, as a woman, you have more ability to flood your marriage with love than he has. And that's a fact. Women are designed differently than men by nature. So a woman is designed to carry children, obviously, and then raise the children. All this nonsense today about, well, men and women share in raising the children, it's just not true. It's the mothers who raise the children. The fathers throw in a little bit. They have a little bit of wisdom and they discipline a little bit. And they should be there so the kids know that the father is their protector. But they don't raise the children. The moms do. Why? I don't know. But God set it up that way where the woman's heart is opened up. And I use this story all the time to sort of explain this. So let's say a man goes to the doctor and the doctor says to the man, I hate to tell you this. It's so strange. I've never seen it before. You're pregnant. And the man goes, what? Cut it out. Cut it out right now. Here, where's your scalpel? Cut it out. Take it out. And that's how a man feels about having that experience. Now, a woman goes to the doctor and she's pregnant, and the doctor does a sonogram or whatever it's called and says, wow, everything's moving along fine, but I have to tell you something. You don't have a human baby inside of you. You have a chipmunk inside of you. And the woman goes, aw. Because she has to be there by nature's call to nurture and raise that child, her heart just opens up. So women are naturally more heart-oriented, just for this simple biological reason, and men are not. So you have some power here, and what I want you to do is learn how to save your marriage. Don't turn your back on this investment you have in the man who you married. He is still your soulmate. He's confused right now, and so are you, but we could get you straightened out. Here's what you should take away from this video. Your marriage is not over. If you give up, your marriage is over, but it's not over. Now, you can't go back into saving your marriage using the same tools that got you into this position in the first place. You need to learn. And that's why I'm so glad you came here to the Marriage Foundation, because I can help you. I really can. So please visit our website, peruse, learn more about the online course for women. And you might want to start with our 10-day course. It's free, and it gives you a feel for how I approach things. It's very positive. No one's going to beat you over the head. No one's going to tell you what you did wrong. It's all about teaching you how to live your marriage. And I'm going to tell you something that's really cool. When you learn how, not only will you save your marriage, but you'll have the best marriage you've ever had, like you've never even dreamed of. So this video is one of hundreds that I've created. Subscribe to the channel and you'll be able to hear them. Like the video so we satisfy the analytics, I think it's called, with Google and YouTube, and share it. And leave a comment too. Leave a comment. Some people ask me what they should do in the comment section with a different kind of problem, and I always answer. Or you could write to one of our counselors. It's a free service. Ask a counselor. Again, it's on our website. I'm so glad you stopped by. God bless you. I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. God bless you and take care.